is reality? What is reality? Reality is what we believe to be true about the nature of our surroundings. But how do we come to decide that true nature? Do we conceive it completely on our own? Or do other devices gently sway our thoughts onto a pre-decided path? This is the hard question we must all ask ourselves as free humans on this planet. Whose sculpts your reality?
Reality.
Hey, Wednesday.
Sweet pulsating Jesus, it's time for another reality brief.
I'm Don.
I'm Dan, and I am completely sleep deprived, but it's all good.
I'm not, but I am.
Yeah, what he said.
Holy shit, it's been one hell of a 2 weeks, huh, guys?
It really has.
Absolutely, dick all has happened.
Sorry we missed you last week. It's just been waves of chaos and tumult and upheaval and all sorts of other fun things going on. But yeah.
Oh, look at this guy.
We've got a whole jam-packed episode for you. This guy.
It's not really that jam buttery tonight, though, guys. Let's be honest. Okay,
it kind of is that. We've got some cool stuff.
There's a few cool things, but it's not a whole lot of stuff. So we might even end up doing kind of a little early tonight. We'll have to see what happens, see if we fall asleep or not.
I think we have enough witty banter to keep going for 2 hours.
Yeah, I could verbal diarrhea for hours in a row, man. We did it one time.
Yeah, one time we verbal diarrheaed for 12 hours.
It was great.
It was pretty epic.
First up on the menu tonight, guys, we've got how AI is creating new threats to election security. Let's watch the video. That's easy.
You know,
Presented
as if
by
your vote
Raytheon,
counted
making
anyhow.
the world a
by
safer
Raytheon.
place.
Oh, I love you, Raytheon. Please be my master some more.
Raytheon, drone striking brown kids for over 50 years.
They used to make some damn good vacuum
That
tubes,
music. This week on Campaign 2018 Election Hacking, we examine the fastest growing hacking trends around the globe and the risk they pose to election security. From weaponized artificial intelligence to bots working to crack passwords.
He sounds like weaponized artificial
Each of our
intelligence.
interconnected smart devices. All this emerging technology is actually helping hackers attack elections faster than policies can keep up.
This week, CNET senior producer Dan Patterson spoke with Google's Mark Risher. He explained just what some of these threats actually look like.
Conversations about emerging threats are often about how attacks are becoming so much more targeted.
Well, they got
So when
shiny
people
skulls
hear terms
and
like
big
phishing,
guns.
They frequently think of, dear sir or madam, I am writing to you from some country where I am an oil minister, etc. Or something that's very generic, please log into your bank account, and it just has, all the logos of all the popular banks. These are not really a concern. That's getting blocked by systems like ours, and users don't fall for that with any great rapidity. What is a challenge is attacks that are specially tuned and targeted to the individual. And frequently what we see is the attackers, the criminals, doing some research in advance. So maybe they look at a social media profile to find out where you live, where you work, who are some people you might know, and then add that information to increase the credibility and the verisimilitude of their attacks.
Dan Patterson joins us now to talk about all of this. And Dan, phishing is something people are familiar with. They get it. But how specifically as a tactic?
Hold on. We've got, this is 2017, right, guys?
Yeah.
What the fuck are you still doing, falling for phishing scams or Nigerian 401s? What the fuck is wrong with you people, man?
You believe people still try calling convenience stores in the middle of the night and get them to put money on cards, and people still fall for it?
That's fucking crazy, man.
Yeah.
So cyber attacks targeting the 2018 midterm election aren't just relying on tested tactics like phishing tactics or social media influence campaigns and ransomware targeting critical infrastructure. Wait a minute.
Well, we all know the best social media influence campaigns involve cartoon frogs.
Cybersecurity experts are concerned that emerging technology like AI and automation powered by big data of the Internet of Things is helping hackers attack election systems faster than officials can keep up. What I'm scared by is that this is attacker-defender asymmetry, says Mark Reicher. Google Director of Product Management for Security and Privacy. Well, that's a fucking mouthful of a title. We need to make sure every door, every window, every little portal is securely closed, but the attackers only need to find one. And when he says attackers, he means, you know, government agencies, most likely, like whether it's ours or China's or whatever. Automated cyber attacks against political campaigns are being shaped by artificial intelligence. If a human being were walking down the street trying to break in the car, they might try all the doors. Where phishing attacks like those that targeted John Podesta in the Hillary Clinton campaign, talk about some stupidity right there, man. Oh, yeah, that guy, fucking how he got his password taken.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Fucking stupid, man. AI speeds up and amplifies the number of car doors the attacker can try and open. So, I mean, that's it, man. Get ready for it, dude. This is the new thing. AI is going to be doing every fucking thing that anybody ever fucking did.
Just faster and more of it.
More coldly and more calculated. 450% colder! So, yeah, this was one that just popped up real quick. And then we got one more, I think, before we get to the list stuff. What's this? Robot is co-taught at a what?
Robot co-taught.
How AI is creating new threats to election security. That's the wrong one.
No.
This robot co-taught a course at West Point. The fuck? That is an odd-looking robot.
Bina 48.
Bina 48. The first ever robot to complete a college course finished another mission today. It became the first robot to co-teach a university-level class. Why it matters. The experiment at the U.S. Military Academy at West Point sought to determine if AI can support a liberal education model. Goddamn, send kids to college and then come back liberals taught by robots. Says a William Barry, a West Point professor who has been using Bina 48 to teach for years. What's happening? Bina 48 co-taught 2 sessions of an Introduction to Ethics philosophy course.
The problem is the AIs just keep coming to the conclusion that liberalism is a terrible philosophy.
And powering down.
No, they all become agorists.
In the classroom were almost 100 students with Barry and Major Scott Parsons, an assistant professor at West Point. The objective was to understand whether AI can authentically support teaching in a classroom, where it enhances students' comprehension and holds interest. How it works. Bina 48 is fed a mosaic of general knowledge in the form of what Barry calls mind files. That's right, you heard that. Mind files. In preparation for today, AI developers fed Bina 48 troves of data about war theory, political philosophy, in addition to Barry's lesson plan. We asked not to hook her on the internet because she can easily run to Wikipedia or the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy. We want to run her just on the algorithm. Plus, we all know what happened to Cleverbot. Yeah. When it's Bina 48's turn to teach, it pursues its background knowledge and lesson plan and delivers a lecture. And if students ask a question, the bot can reply out loud, soon to be telepathically. After today's class, Barry tells Axios the cadets were wholly receptive. Before the class, they thought it might be too gimmicky or be entertainment. It's so entertaining to be taught a college-level course by a robot. They were blown away because she was able to answer questions and reply with nuance. The interesting part was that the cadets were taking notes from the robot.
I believe it.
Hey, you're going to learn something. But the bot may not be best suited for West Point. The cadets concluded, since it didn't quite keep pace with the class, it might make a greater impact in country with low literacy rates. It's a tard bot teacher.
They'd be great if all of a sudden the robot just starts going, "Force, my friends, as violence, the supreme authority from which all other authority is derived. Naked force has resolved more issues throughout history than any other factor."
Flashback, this is not Bina 48's first interaction with West Point students. Last year, it participated in a debate about the use of non-lethal weapons in warfare.
There is no point. Kill your enemies.
Destroy all humans. Destroy all humans. Oh, shit, man. Yeah, I think we had one more about robots tonight, so let's go ahead and just get that one out of the way. Let's see if I can find it.
Better hurry up before the robots get you.
Oh, here it is. Yeah, the robot's going to get me for taking too long. Let's check it out.
Remember
the robot that committed suicide? Well, they're patrolling the streets in New York now.
Are you for real?
This is the same. Look, it may not be the same exact model or manufacturer or whatever, but it looks damn sure just like the one that threw itself into the fucking pool. I cannot like this life. So these things are running around New York now. I'm assuming it's private security. Let's go ahead and see what the article's got to say. The security force of the future is already patrolling several neighborhoods in the tri-state area. The robotic protectors can see what you're doing and even talk back to you. They better not fucking talk back to me when I tell you about talking back to me, robot. But the machines created by a New Yorker have prompted serious privacy concerns. CBS 2. That's its name, like R2D2.
No, that's the name of the channel. CBS
oh,
2.
my bad. CBS 2. One of the models, named Rosie, uses the same technology as self-driving car to patrol the sidewalks at Lefrak City Apartments in Queens. You will put your trash in the proper receptacle. This is a crazy combination of AI and self-driving autonomous technology, robotics and analytics, and something that's actually useful for society. Telling you, man. Telling you, it's not going to be much longer. We're going to have, as soon as the technology is like to the point to where it can be mass produced pretty, maybe not so cheaply, but quickly at least, we're going to have either RoboCops or Terminators running around policing us, dude. I'm telling you, dude.
You have 20 seconds to comply.
Lee's company has built 3 robot models in the United States, and only 2 of them, coincidentally, committed suicide. And it's introducing them to customers inside a new showroom at the 47th Street and Lexington Avenue in Manhattan. They're also deployed at LaGuardia Airport. Isn't that where they killed themselves? Or that was a mall?
LaGuardia, but yeah.
I thought it was pretty cool, but I didn't even know what it really was. These Gorilla Cookies are something else. Connie Ron said, I thought it was just patrolling around. Each robot has 5 cameras, 4 of which help the robot see things. The other is used to get thermal imaging data. Jesus Christ. All the information gathered goes to an internet-based portal that helps local security forces on the ground. The law enforcement apparatus is not going to scale. You can't keep adding more people, and we're going to add more people and more officers. It's not going to happen. Society literally can't afford this. The robots are able to observe people walking on the sidewalks, record license plate numbers, detect the heat in objects, and see which cell phone serial numbers are within a designated... What? And see which cell phone serial numbers are within a designated patrolling area. So it's just like, okay, I know all these people. It's like got a fucking tricorder almost because everybody's got to have a cell phone stuck up their ass.
Right.
Nightscope said the data is secured and is only seen by the security agency controlling the robot. Anytime someone tells you the data is secured, they're full of shit.
Yeah, there's no such thing as secure data. It just doesn't exist.
They're able to stop it and tell it what to look for, but it doesn't have a joystick that would allow it to follow or target a specific person. That's what the algorithms are for. Of course, privacy concerns abound. In the wrong hands, people could, reboot it or something.
Hey, screw these security robots. They're all, rebooting and stuff.
They're going to end up just smacking up against the wall over and over again like the
Your floor is now clean. Your floor is now clean.
Lee grew up in Queens and said the 9/11 attacks began his thinking about how to improve security across the country. I'm really still upset about it, so I'm dedicating our lives to improving the safety of our country. I'm so torn up that the government attacked us that I gotta have robots running around oppressing people. The company said it costs between $6 and $12 an hour for a new robot to hit the streets. They're currently deployed in 16 states to come alongside local security teams to help reduce crime. Yeah, it's all well and good reducing crime until the fucking robots take over the world.
Yeah, well, or until they decide that reducing crime means getting rid of
all the humans.
All the undesirables.
Kill humans.
We'll teach them of our peaceful ways by force.
So you guys, you know, Fukushima is still a fucking mess, right? You know, it's still dying.
It's still hemorrhaging radioactive water into the ocean.
So now we've got this.
This is why I don't eat seafood, by the way.
You don't eat seafood because it's not kosher. Japan plans to flush Fukushima water containing radioactive material above permitted levels into the ocean. What? They plan to?
Yeah, as if they haven't been for
oh
ever.
My god, dude. Daniel, you want to do the honors on this one? I need a break. I can't think straight.
Yeah, I hear you. Alright, so water that the Japanese government is planning to release into the Pacific Ocean from the crippled Fukushima Daiichi nuclear plant contains radioactive material well above legally permitted levels, according to the plant's operator in documents seen by the Telegraph. Yeah, because the law is going to stop, a nuclear holocaust. The government is running out of space to store this contaminated water that's come into contact with fuel that escaped from 3 nuclear reactors after the plant was destroyed in March 2011. Roll that around in your heads for a second, folks. 7 years.
7 years.
2011 earthquake
Poisoning
and tsunami that struck northeast Japan. It's planned to release the approximately 1.09 million tons of water currently stored in 900 tanks and into the Pacific has triggered a fierce backlash from local residents and environmental organizations, as well as groups in South Korea and Taiwan fearful that the radioactivity from the second worst nuclear disaster ever.
It's the worst.
Second worst nuclear disaster in history so far might wash up on their shores.
It's definitely the worst, man. And here's the other thing about this shit. They've got tons of fucking contaminated soil sitting in black fucking bags that are deteriorating. Now, we're only supposed to be there for like a year. These bags have a shelf life of X, and they're already like X times 4. They're fucking falling apart. And meanwhile, Japan is like, safe for y'all, go back now. It's insane, man. It is not safe to go back there, man. Dude, there's spots in there that are higher than Chernobyl.
Yeah.
Or Chernobyl.
So, TEPCO, that runs the plant, has until recently claimed that the only significant contaminant in the water is safe levels of tritium, which can be found in small amounts in drinking water, but is dangerous in large amounts. The government has promised that all other radioactive material is being reduced to non-detect levels by the sophisticated Advanced Liquid Processing System operated by the nuclear arm of Hitachi Limited.
Not the Advanced Liquid Processing System.
The same guys that make your hard drives are responsible for...
What are you doing? Don't pay attention to what I'm doing.
Sorry, I spaced out.
You got a job to do.
I'm so sleep deprived, guys. Bear with me. So, documents provided to the Telegraph by a source in the Japanese government suggest, however, that the ALPS has consistently failed to eliminate a cocktail of other radioactive elements, including, but not limited to, iodine.
Stop dying.
Sorry, I'm dying. No, it's so radioactive, it's getting me from here.
So sleepy.
Iodine, ruthenium, rhodium, antimony, tellurium, cobalt, and strontium. Hey, strontium, that's that chemtrail stuff.
Yeah.
So, Hitachi declined to comment on the reports that the performance of its equipment.
Strontium and, what was the other thing that's real bad?
Barium?
Yeah, barium.
Which, barium has its medical uses, but,
Yeah, I've had plenty of barium in the last fucking 4 months, guys. Trust me, it sucks.
Yeah, it's not tasty.
And it makes you shit your brains out like liquid snot or something.
Did you feel like you were the Fukushima Daiichi?
I did.
Hemorrhaging nuclear water?
I felt like I was having a core meltdown there.
Yeah, you had to flush it all into the ocean.
Yeah.
So, Hitachi declined to comment on the reports on the performance of its equipment. The Japanese government did not reply to multiple requests for comment.
Really?
Yeah, I'm sure, I'm sure.
I wonder what they were doing that was making them so busy. They couldn't say why they had all the radioactive water in the ocean.
Nope.
Maybe they were fucking sending out. They sent them when that shit happened. The poor guy working at the plant, like, did his best to try to like keep shit. And they're like, look, we need to vent this shit. You know what I mean? Like, and they told him, no, don't do it. We gotta figure it out. Like, because they put it in the ocean, right? But the shit was getting ready to just like be 50 times worse than it was. And the government's like, nah, just wait. So anyway, the shit was melting down. They needed water. They asked for like 40 million gallons of water or something like that, and the government turned around and sent them like 40,000 1-liter bottles of drinking water. Could you see? Trying to unscrew the drinking water, like pouring it in the reactor. Oh, there's 1 liter.
Oh,
Get the fuck out of here, man. This shit's crazy, dude. Anyway, I don't know what the whole point of that fucking diversion was, but you remember where you were at?
Yeah, at the bottom of the thing.
You need me to scroll?
Yeah.
There you go.
So a restricted document also passed to the Telegraph from the Japanese government arm responsible for responding to the Fukushima collapse indicates that the authorities were not aware that the ALPS facility was not eliminating radionuclides to non-detect levels. Oh yeah, of course they're not. Come on. This adds to reports of a study by the regional Kohoko Shinpo newspaper,
Shinpo,
which said it confirmed that levels of iodine-129 and ruthenium-106 exceeded acceptable levels in 45 samples out of 84 in 2017. Iodine-129 has a half-life of 15.7 million years and can cause cancer of the thyroid. Ruthenium-106 is produced by nuclear fission, and high doses can be toxic and carcinogenic when ingested. It does, however, not give you superpowers. In late September, TEPCO was forced to admit that around 80% of the water stored at Fukushima still contains radioactive substances.
How much did they say? 80%?
Yeah, 80% of the water is still radioactive
above
legal
go
levels.
Away? It's been like 7 years.
Only 15.766666, however many left, right? So, yeah. After the Ministry of Economy, Trade, and Industry held public hearings in Tokyo and Fukushima, at which point local residents and fishermen protested against the plans. TEPCO has now admitted that levels of strontium-90 are more than 100 times above the legally permitted levels. Excuse me, legally permitted levels in 65,000 tons of water that have been through the ALPS cleansing system and are 20,000 times above levels set by the government in several storage tanks at the site. So, basically still radioactive as hell.
And it's just getting worse, man.
Yeah. So, this stuff is going into fish. It builds up in people's teeth and bones. It can cause cancer and leukemia. So, I mean, it's a holy shitstorm out there in Fukushima, and it has been for 7 years, and everyone's just kind of forgotten about it because... At least here in America. Because, the news cycle here is for people with 30-second attention spans.
And plus, there was an election since then.
Yeah.
Everybody's still worried about that. They don't give a fuck about this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're more concerned about, stuff like, are the Russian hookers still a thing?
I don't know. I don't even pay attention to that shit anymore, man.
Yeah.
There's no point, really. All right, so we got this. This Jason Rice guy.
Jason Rice, huh?
Right.
Who is Jason Rice?
I know that you've been living under a rock for like the last month and a half. So.
Yes, talk to me like I've been in the vault in a bomb shelter.
Okay.
For like 2 weeks.
Do you know who Corey Goode is?
The blue chicken guy.
Yeah, I think that's the one. So anyway, you remember we talked about this on the show a few months ago, I guess. David Wilcox's resignation letter got leaked, and there was something in there about Corey Goode and lawsuits and Gaia, and Corey Goode always trying to copyright and trademark and register fucking words and shit.
Right.
you know, I guess that's how it works, but, I mean, the thing about it is, it's always been my problem, is you can't sit there and be like, okay, check me out. I'm with the blue chicken people, and the triangle beam comes out, and the secret space program, and this, that, and the other thing, and then turn around and be like, if anybody else says that, they're making it up. You know what I mean? Like, and they're not even allowed to say that.
I'm the only person who's ever been abducted by aliens ever.
So anyway, all that happened. Obviously now David Wilcock and Corey Goode aren't doing Cosmic Disclosure anymore. So with it being, you know, the piggy bank, I'm assuming, for Gaia, they're scrambling looking for someone to replace him. So what they did was they come up with this guy, Jason Rice. Right? And I watched like the first video or something. I don't have a Gaia subscription. Somebody sent it to me. So, and you know, it seemed pretty standard from what I could tell, but so they get this guy to replace him. Corey Goode goes apeshit. This guy copping me. I'm gonna get lawyered up and trademark this and all that.
You got abducted by aliens too? I'm gonna sue you.
So anyway, there's you know, people are kind of like flip-flop and wishy-washy about this guy from what I can tell. You know, do they trust him? Do they not trust him? Whatever. So then he releases this letter, and from what I can see, I haven't even read it yet. So this is gonna be great. You know, people are starting to warm up to him after this, I guess. But you know, to me, it just seems like a big fucking game that these guys are playing in Gaia. But who knows? No one owns disclosure. Many people do not know who I am. So let me share a few words of introduction. My name is Jason Rice, and I recently came into public awareness on the Gaia series Cosmic Disclosure. This is the platform that I chose to go public for the first time about my experiences in my lab and SSP programs. At risk to my personal safety and my professional life, working as a multidisciplined civil and electrical engineer for over 21 years, I decided in 2017 to go public because I feel it's time to disclose my involvement in ongoing, unacknowledged special access programs with the explicit hope of contributing valuable information to the disclosure effort. When deciding upon going public with my experiences, I was fully aware of the potential ramifications from various government and non-government agencies involved with the SSP. The agencies, typical whistleblower discredit playbook includes the usual media manipulation, civil legal actions, slander, ridicule, and even perhaps threats as a result of my coming forward. I did not, however, imagine that another SSP veteran who would fulfill the role of bullying, ridicule, civil legal action, and manipulation of the alternative media to further a narrative, agenda, and or opinion. Which is what we've pretty much been saying about. Like, look.
Bullying, ridicule, manipulation of the alternative media. Obviously, everyone's A&A.
Obviously, this guy hasn't been in contact with anyone else, any other veterans or anything like that, because he would know that Corey Goode's been doing this shit the whole time.
Right.
So maybe he's just playing stupid. I don't know. At 10:46 PST on October 3rd, 2018, I was served with a legal letter from the attorney of James Corey Goode mere hours before my interview with Jimmy Church on Fade to Black. A copy of the letter is included with this article. The main goal of coming forward with my experiences is about contributing to the goal of full disclosure. There are many voices out there who have spoken about the SSP and other classified programs that date back to the late 1980s. Many more are in a position to come out but are cautious because of the ridicule and overtly aggressive behaviors from within the truth seeker community, not to mention the very real threats from and targeting by SSP-involved government and non-government agencies alike. Whistleblowers and insiders have a tremendous amount of information to contribute. The SSP puzzle has many pieces and many compartmentalized parts. I do not pretend to know all of the thousands of people that have been or are involved. The secrecy within the SSP is deliberate in order to specifically restrict knowledge in the event of leaks and or whistleblower testimony. There are many factions with assets, people, interests, and agendas in the SSP. The best thing we can do to further the disclosure movement is to encourage those who are willing to come forward to do so. This movement is far bigger than any one person, group, narrative, or interest. And once again, we encourage you to come on our show with your stories about the SSP as well. We'll have you on and you tell us your story, what happened to you.
You can call in right now and tell it to us. 757-528-8130.
In September 2017, I was invited by Gaia to be a guest on Cosmic Disclosure. I was told shortly after that Corey Good refused to appear with me on the show. Gaia conveyed my offer to meet and discuss my experiences, but this opportunity was declined by Corey Good. I am not alone in this arbitrary blacklisting experience either. There are other whistleblowers that were similarly blacklisted long before I ever stepped foot on Gaia property. It is not my place to provide their names, and those who experienced it firsthand will speak out if that is their wish. The point here is that an SSP whistleblower decided for you what information you are given. Gaia was hopeful that Corey would reconsider his position on my testimony. Given Corey Good originally refused to appear with Emery Smith on the series as well. Honoring Corey's request, Gaia then invited me to appear on a different series in February 2018. In March 2018, Corey Good filed for copyright protection with the USPTO for intellectual property protection of the terms 20 and back, SSP, secret space program, and countless other topics and areas of interest.
God, fuck off, Corey Good. Jesus.
No one owns these terms or programs, nor the effects to bring this information forward. To trademark and thus control or restrict the use of the terms 20 and back, SSP, secret space program, and countless other topics and areas of interest by Corey Good is contrary to what the truth-seeking community has been working towards for decades. You know, it's like with the Venus people and shit, like, they said they saw the same aliens that I did. Well, if the aliens you saw are real, then don't you think some other motherfucker was going to see it too? I mean, come on, man.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's sad because it just throws doubt on everything this motherfucker says now. You know what I mean? Which may even be the point. This guy may have been an agent from day one. This guy, Jason Rice, might even be a goddamn agent. How am I supposed to know? This could be some kind of fucking plot where they're trying to control disclosure, the information coming out, and steer it a certain way to paint it in whatever fucking picture it was. There was a falling out for whatever reason it was. So this guy, Jason Rice, the polished up version of Corey Good, saying all the right things, shows up, and now he's going to tell us how it is. I mean, obviously we're going to have to give the guy some time. See what he says, see how he acts. This is encouraging, but, you know,
the tighter you close
trust people, man.
The tighter you close your grip, Corey Good, the more whistleblowers will slip through your fingers.
Okay, so yep. No, blah. Where I read that. The SSP whistleblower community is growing, and there is a shared bond among veterans of these programs. As an SSP veteran, I can tell you from personal experience how appreciative and thankful I am those who went public before I did. These include Mark Richards, Randy Kramer, Tony Gonzalez, Michael Relf, August Tellez, and many others. Thousands have been and are currently participating in secret space programs around the globe. For them to express their personal experiences and testimonies does not equate to plagiarism. Thank you. To be clear, I do not harbor any ill feelings or intentions toward Corey Good. I also do not ask for or condone or support any acts of violence, bullying, or vigilantism. What about getting on the internet and talking shit, bunch of shit?
Yeah, well, that's all day.
Can you condone that? It is my hope that bringing these issues into light will generate meaningful, loving, and respectful discourse about the strength of many voices and end all attempts at securing intellectual property protection of common use terms by anyone. I am sincerely grateful for the opportunity to disclose my SSP experiences and genuinely encourage other whistleblowers to come forward and share their own. The reason why you would trademark something is so that you can do business under that trademark without anybody else doing business under that trademark.
Yep.
Right? So, I'm sorry. Look, I don't have a problem with people making money in this industry. I mean, because let's face it, it's an industry now. right?
Yeah.
You know, whistleblowers, people who flying around the country to give lectures and all shit. Sure, fucking make money, whatever, but you can't just own it all.
Yeah. That would be like...
You know what I mean? And the point, and also the point of it is supposedly to get the truth out, right? Not to just make money.
Right?
Like I said, I ain't got a problem with nobody making money. I'm glad Guy is a fucking publicly traded company because at least there's something like that. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? If I had the ability to do it, I would do it myself. But, you know, at least there's something like that out there.
Like, okay, case in point. I heard another show that's not dissimilar from ours. An extra special shout out to our buddy Colin Gillespie. Happy birthday, buddy. From Spooky Action Radio down in Australia. He had a show not too long ago with a lady claiming to be in contact with some beings from a planet called Puntil. PNTL, but apparently they're very human-like. But what do they call themselves? Or we've commonly called them the Zetas. Mm-hmm. You know, they'd be like, oh, I was, psychically contacted by the Zetas, so now I'm going to try and copyright the word Zeta Reticuli. Like, you can't copyright something that's massive and happening to all kinds of people. Like, yeah, that's...
To me, it's like, a copyright is to prevent something that you've created.
Yeah.
Right? So,
are you saying
you created are you saying that the whole thing is fiction then? Is that internet being stupid tonight, man? Hey, and we're back again?
Hey.
Are we back again?
Are we back again?
Am I here? Am I back? Anyway, as we were saying before we got cut off.
If you're watching and we're back, give us a call, 757-528-8130.
Let us know that we're back and keep us company because it's lonely and scary here.
In space, nobody can hear your OBS take a shit.
It was the internet, it wasn't OBS.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, what was I saying again? Right, this guy. Oh, shit, I forgot now. Fuck. I hate you, internet, with you cutting off and all that jazz. Alright, so let's continue on. Last paragraph, guys.
Yeah.
I ask for your support by reposting this article without changing the content, and by does adding commentary count as changing the content?
Nope.
Alright, look.
That's the download. That's the DLC. That's the downloadable content.
I see. And by proclaiming that no one owns disclosure, the control of these terms should not rest in the hands of one person, group, or corporation to decide what is and is not deemed accurate, true, or appropriate. We've all had plenty of time to digest and experience firsthand this kind of censorship. The placement of these terms should remain clearly and solidly in the public domain.
Well, if Corey Good copyrights the term 20 and back, we're just going to start calling it the 20 and A.
Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and pull up these papers he got served with. Let's see what Corey Good's got to say. Unauthorized use of Mr. James Corey Good's protected terms, SSP 20 and back, and related terms.
We're just going to start calling it the Secret Squirrel Space Program.
The Super Squirrel Space Program. Dear Mr. Rice, it has come to my attention that you have been using terms belonging to my client, James Corey Good, in various online and possibly otherwise broadcasts. You may not be aware that Mr. Good owns certain common law rights and pending federal trademark rights in the phrases SSP and 20 and back. This letter is to inform you of those rights and to apprise you of that if you are to further participate in the broadcast or publication of material using these terms, you are in violation of Mr. Good's copyrights, trademark rights, and other existing IP rights, and that Mr. Good will take any necessary precautions to protect these rights.
Well, if you're one of Corey Good's lawyers and you're listening right now, give us a call, 757-528-8130.
Tell me why you're such a scumbag fuck. To be completely clear, this letter is to firmly request that you refrain from any use, distribution, production, sale, or advertising of his work related to his testimony regarding the secret space program, the Sphere Being Alliance, Blue Avians, 20 and Back, Return of the Guardians, Dark Fleet, and countless other topics of areas and interests.
How do you refrain from countless other topics and areas of interest?
Don't
Get the fuck out of
you
here.
talk about anything!
Don't you be interested in things?
There can be only one
insider. All I can say is Corey Good better copyright Blue Chicken Cult, because we're
Blue
doing...
Chicken Commander. Any use whatsoever of Mr. Good's testimony, story, or material is not authorized by Mr. Good. I am sure that you appreciate the gravity of this situation. Please let me know at your earliest convenience your intention to comply with the foregoing. If you have any questions, I am free to discuss. We appreciate your cooperation in this manner. Very truly yours, this lawyer lady guy. I'm saying, man. Oh, I never put that up on the screen. Whatever. You know.
All right. Well, we found Valerie Inaros Wild on LinkedIn.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Great. We should link up.
So yeah, I'm wondering if we could contact that law firm actually.
Yeah. For why?
Oh,
They're not gonna talk to us. They're gonna sue us if we do. We're gonna be like, hey, can you tell us why? No, I watched your show. You violated international trademark law.
I think we should give them a call.
Go for it. Call them right now.
Let's do it.
We got these nice boundary mics. You can put it on speakerphone and pick up the whole conversation. Just ask them, why come so douchebag? Don't get. All right, so yeah, I don't know if you guys want to weigh in on that. If anybody's listening out there on Twitch, YouTube, whatever, you can give us a call. You can type in the chat, weigh in on the whole Corey Good. You know, it's like this is like all this fucking disclosure and all this shit got so hyped up the last year and a half, 2 years, and it seems like it kind of just fizzled out, man. Like nothing. You remember the Tom DeLonge shit?
Vaguely, yeah.
To the Stars Academy. Well, this popped up on the radar. It's from Spin, but you know, whatever. Tom DeLonge's UFO research firm reports a $37 million deficit.
Oh.
Don't tell me it was a money scam the whole time.
You don't say.
Putting out known fucking videos of CG, calling it the real thing.
How about
To the Stars Academy of Arts and Science, a UFO research venture founded by former Blink-182 frontman Tom DeLonge, has accumulated a $37,432,000 deficit, according to a mid-year SEC filing first reported by Ars Technica.
Ars Technica, yeah.
The firm racked up
It's a
nearly
fun
$32
publication.
million of deficit last year and reported just $369,000 in revenue. What are they doing with all that money, dude?
Beats the hell out of me.
Like,
I'm guessing.
does it really cost $37 million to release CG videos? Like 30-second CG videos that already have been made like 20 years ago?
Yeah, apparently.
DeLonge's company drew increased attention last December after the New York Times reported on the existence of a Defense Department program formed in 2007 and formally terminated in 2012. That funded investigations into reports of unidentified aircraft. The program's former director, Luis Elizondo, last year became a partner at To the Stars to continue his research. The company, which lists on its website telepathy and beamed energy launch systems as subjects of interest, last
What the hell is
September.
a beamed energy launch system?
All right, so it's like a laser sail. Like, you never heard about that shit?
Oh, like Starshot. Yeah, okay.
Okay. Last September began issuing stock to help fund its operations, ultimately raising $1.1 million from investment-curious alien optimists by June 30th. Unfortunately for anyone interested in the action, the stock offering is closed in September. Why would you want to put money into this? It's already operating at $37 $432 million, right? They made $369,000, right? They're $37 million in the hole.
Wow.
Why would you put money into that? And what are they making? Why would you buy stock in this company? Like, what are they making?
Telepathy.
we make telepathy real cheap, like way cheaper than the government. The SEC filing also reveals a new partnership for DeLonge's company with Earth Tech International, a research firm.
Oh boy, that's a hot stock right there.
It's like Captain Planet. In a research firm founded in 1985 by Harold E.
Puthoff.
Come on, dude. Really?
Uh-huh. That's
Puthoff is best known for directing a widely discredited Cold War era program funded by the CIA, Project Stargate.
Yep.
Investigating psychic capabilities, featured in a 2004 book and a 2009 film, The Men Who Stare at Goats. To the Stars Academy has agreed to assist Earth Tech in the study of material sample Earth Tech attained through reliable reports of advanced aerospace vehicles of unknown origin.
Do you know that sometimes when you stare at a goat,
hey, well, look, it
the
makes
goat
sense.
sometimes stares back at you.
It makes sense, you know, for them to have something like that because they could have remote viewed a crash or something.
Yeah.
And know where it was. If you'd like to help To the Stars stay solvent while it uncovers the truth about the great unknown, T-shirts, hoodies, and trucker hats are available on the website for the company's entertainment arm.
Is there any other arm?
Correction. A previous version of this post mischaracterized To the Stars' deficit as debt.
That sounds like some Ben Bernanke's right there.
Did you see Trump talking shit about the Fed?
No.
Yeah, it wasn't nothing like important, but it was more like, you know, dog and pony show shit, but it's just still funny.
He's not going to actually do anything about it.
He's like, you know, I don't like them guys very much. It's tremendously. Okay,
Wow.
so
that's bigly inconsequential. So here's something because we're getting ready to come up on the break here pretty soon.
Ready?
Yeah, already. It's
Holy shit,
already that time.
That was a quick hour, man.
But you know what I've really been wanting to dive into
What's that?
is yes, Blue Chicken Command.
Trademark. Oh, hey, Tess.
The first exo moon. I've been waiting to dive into that.
Yeah.
To the Stars seems to be the most restricted version of them, and in my opinion, driven by the same old war machine. Yeah, I believe that.
Yo, help getting out more fake TR3B videos, dog. Yeah, everybody help. Give them some money so they can put out more bullshit.
If anything, I mean, it's, you know,
Right,
tremendous advertising for Lightwave 3D.
Yeah, what were we hopping to?
The first exo moon, first moon outside the solar system.
First moon?
You just went past it.
That was in space, right? That's
Yeah.
in space, the
Yep.
moon?
Yep.
Okay.
There you go.
Oh, here I am.
There it is.
Oh.
And there that is. First moon outside the solar system may have been found, and it's massive.
We should pull it up over there so they can look at the beautiful pictures.
It really is pretty. I mean, it's all an artist's impression, right? And basically, it's just a picture of Neptune next to a picture of Jupiter. But that apparently
It is
pretty accurate as to what it is. And oddly enough, this is coming from weather.com, which I don't know how that happens, but yeah. Scientists have found the first moon outside of the solar system. It's more than 8,000 light years away from Earth, so it's still that seems like a really long way, right? But that honestly, in space distances, 8,000 light years ain't shit. That's like, you know, warp 8.
And that's not to say that there isn't any moons that are closer, because I'm sure there is. They just haven't found them yet.
Right. Well, and the reason they found this one is because it's freaking huge. So, the first moon outside our solar system is a gas giant about the size of Neptune. Not the planet that it's orbiting, but the moon itself is a gas giant about the size of Neptune. There are plenty of planets that we know exist beyond our solar system. We've found thousands of them. A moon orbiting one of them has yet to be confirmed. I mean, it should stand to reason that there's going to be some moons out there, right?
Absolutely. I mean, fuck.
I mean,
Just think about how many...
our solar system alone has gazillions of them. So, you know, like Earth, we only have one moon, but Jupiter has what, like 217 discovered ones?
Let me blow your mind, dog. What if our solar system is really just Nibiru's moon?
That doesn't... I don't think it works like that.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
You had to put out a call for that one and see. Anybody know how that works? Give us a call.
And if you're Corey Good and you're planning on copywriting the phrase Nibiru,
you're going to have
give
a
us a
lot
call.
of flat earthers up in arms, dog.
Oh, yeah, that'll be fun. Dude, can you imagine who would win, Corey Good versus an army of flat earthers?
The blue chickens.
So, all right, yeah. What's it? Yeah, plenty of planets out there. We know they're there. Moon hasn't been confirmed until now, but a pair of researchers from Columbia University presented their evidence for the moon Wednesday. The potential moon would be considerably larger than Earth, about the size of Neptune or perhaps even Uranus. The planet it orbits is...
You mean you didn't stop and make a joke there? Really?
Do I really need to?
You're slipping, dog.
Haven't we beaten that blue chicken to
Never
death?
pass up an opportunity for a butt or a fart joke, man.
You're right. All right, well...
Think about the audience. Think about the audience.
You're right. Yeah, I should have thought of my fans. The planet it orbits is as big as Jupiter, at least, if not bigger. And this apparent supersized pairing of a gaseous moon and a planet is 8,000 light years away.
What?
Researchers Alex Tichy and David Kipping evaluated 284 planets outside of our solar system that have been discovered by Kepler. Only one planet held promising data for hosting a moon, at least one that we can see from here. And one around the star known as Kepler 1625, which is about the size of our sun, but it's a little bit older. So it's a slightly more mature star system.
It's kind of milfy.
Yeah, it's like it's
a milfy moon.
It's like a silver fox star system, you know. So last October, the pair directed the Hubble telescope at the star in an attempt to verify or rule out the possibility of a planet orbiting Kepler 1625b. They are on the lookout for a secondary dimming of starlight, and the main dip in stellar brightness would be the planet itself transiting in front of the star. Another dip could also be a moon, known as an exomoon outside our solar system. Which
Or Nibiru, as some people would say.
Oh, come on with that. So, the more powerful and precise Hubble telescope detected a second and smaller decrease in starlight 3.5 hours after the planet passed in front of the star, like a dog following its owner on a leash, as Kipping put it. The observation period, however, ended before the moon could complete its transit. That's why astronomers need another look with Hubble, hopefully next spring. Despite the evidence, Tichy stressed, we are urging caution here. The first exomoon is obviously an extraordinary claim, and it requires extraordinary evidence. Furthermore, we've calculated that for this moon, being about the size of Neptune, has hardly been anticipated, and so that is just a reason to be careful here. So, honestly, they don't know if it's a moon or just another planet in that system.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it stands to reason to me, like, we have 8 major planets and a shitload of dwarf planets in this solar system that we've discovered so far. There could be a 9th major planet out there. But...
Nibiru.
Yeah, sure, let's call it Nibiru. Just to get all this over with, let's just name it fucking Nibiru, no matter what it is.
Even if it's a fucking frozen ball of frogs. Especially if it's a frozen ball of frogs.
That's Planet Keck right there.
Keck. Alright, so is that the TLDR?
Yeah, pretty much. Kepler 1625, they think it might have a moon, but, it could just be another planet in the solar system, too, but, yeah.
So if you want to finish reading that up, it's at weather.com.
Yeah, moons are abundant in our own solar system. With close to 200 of the 8 planets in our solar system, only Mercury and Venus have none, because they're losers. No, seriously.
Right.
Mercury is almost a moon in and of itself. You know what? There are 3 moons, Ganymede, Titan, and Callisto, that are bigger than Mercury. So Mercury could easily be a moon all on its own. If it had something bigger, like Mercury could get trapped in Venus's orbit, and it would be a moon. Now here's my question. All right, you know how Pluto and Charon, right? A big part of why Pluto isn't officially a planet is because Pluto has moons, right? But Charon is so big in comparison to Pluto. Like, okay, the center of gravity between Earth and our moon, Luna, the center of gravity is well below the surface of the Earth, right? So the moon may not orbit the exact center of the Earth because, tides and stuff. So there's a gravitational tug of war. But the moon pulls on the Earth, too. Right. And it pulls on the oceans, it pulls on all the liquid stuff under the crust. And so the center of gravity is still well inside the Earth. Probably within the Earth's core. Whereas with Pluto and Charon, the center of gravity is above Pluto's surface. So Charon doesn't so much orbit Pluto as it is two objects going around each other. So it makes me wonder if Kepler 1625b and this giant Neptune-sized moon, or, Uranus-sized moon, zing, it makes me wonder if they don't have a center of gravity that's above the gas planet surface. You know what I mean? Like the host planet.
Right. Dude, did you hear about that one? We were talking about that last week. It was like a super Earth.
Yeah.
And they thought it got blown off or some shit. It was a gas giant and it lost its atmosphere.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, which is totally possible. And I mean,
what the fuck would do that, though?
Getting hit by another planet?
Yeah, I guess. A pretty big one, huh?
Maybe a nearby supernova could do it. Like if for instance Alpha Centauri went supernova, then the shockwave from that could knock Jupiter and Saturn's atmospheres off and blow them into space. Because 4 light years is nothing. So from 4 light years away, that huge wave of energy. Thankfully, Alpha Centauri is way too small to go supernova. So
right. Well, we're gonna hit the break real quick, guys, and we'll be back. When we get back, we got lots of other stuff to talk about.
Yeah, you know what? We were just kidding earlier when we were like, oh yeah, we might call it early, because we've got so much good stuff. We've got cloud cities on Venus. We've got space telescopes shutting down for no good reason.
We're getting pretty good at making a 2-sentence thought last an hour.
Yeah. We got neutron star mergers, emergency landings, more space station fuckery, all kinds of good stuff.
Mm-hmm. What? All right, guys. We'll see you, Flippy Dippy. Hey guys, we're back. Hour 2. If you like what you hear, you can go to humanservices.bandcamp.com and get you some of that. Get you some of that.
And speaking of Bandcamp, you can also stop by the Reality Brief Bandcamp, and if you really like what we do, if you want to see us grow our show and, you know, do better things and make nicer noises and talk about fun stuff, then you can download one of our MP3s. Pay what you want. Pay nothing. You can pay 5 cents. You can pay $1. It's if you need some way to launder money, it's a big plus.
Alternatively, you can also hit us up at patreon.com. You know, what you really need to do, though, for real, is head over to facebook.com and join the Reality Brief Exopolitics and Conspiracy Facebook group, because it's fucking awesome.
It really is.
That's all I'm going to say about it.
We have
Join it.
the best shitpost Fridays ever.
Thank you, Tess. You're the greatest.
Thank you, Tess. You're awesome. We love you.
Alright, so where were we at here? Oh yeah, before we got to the other stuff we were talking about, I wanted to get up on this guy right here. U.S. general considered nuclear response in Vietnam War.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
So
actually.
now we're gonna nuke a motherfucker over a fake ass war?
Yeah. Oh well, LBJ was a psycho anyhow. I'm sure he would have been fine with it.
All right, so just so we're all on the same page here with the listeners, the viewers, and Dan and I.
LBJ was a Nazi bastard.
Gulf of Tonkin was some bullshit. It never happened. All right, the whole excuse for that war was made up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're tinfoil.
Yeah. It was fake news.
So, I had personally not heard this, so that's why it stuck out for me. In one of the darkest moments of the Vietnam War, the top American military commander in Saigon activated a plan in 1968 to move nuclear weapons to South Vietnam until he was overruled by LBJ. Really? According to recently declassified documents cited in a new history of wartime presidential decisions. The documents reveal a long secret set of preparations by the commander, William C. Westmoreland, to have a nuclear weapons at hand should American forces find themselves on the brink of defeat at Khe Sanh, one of the fiercest battles of the war. With the approval of the American commander in the Pacific, General Westmoreland had put together a secret operation codenamed Fracture Jaw that included moving nuclear weapons into South Vietnam so they could be used on short notice against North Vietnamese troops. Now, here's the question for me. Does this General William C. Westmoreland, is he privy to the fact that the whole reason for this war was some made-up bullshit?
Oh, I'm sure.
That's a fucked up dude right there, man.
Yep.
Johnson's national security advisor, Walt W. Rostow, alerted the president in a memorandum on White House stationery. The president rejected the plan and ordered a turnaround, according to Tom Johnson, then a young special assistant to the president and note-taker at the meetings on issue, which were held in the family dining room on the second floor of the White House. It almost makes me seem like maybe this guy didn't know it was a bunch of bullshit, and LBJ was like, whoa, wait, no, hold up. Before we go nuking these motherfuckers.
Slow down, buddy.
And there's the memorandum. So this is up at the New York Times if you want to check that out for yourself. When he learned that the planning had been set into motion, he was extraordinarily upset and forcibly sent word through Rostow, and I think directly to Westmoreland, to shut it down, Mr. Johnson said in an interview. You hear the helicopters?
Yep. Yeah, they're coming for us, guys. Black helicopter squad in effect.
Every Wednesday. Every Wednesday. Let me stop. So anyway, I'll bet LBJ was upset.
Oh.
It's like, no. We weren't supposed to nuke
job.
him. We weren't supposed to nuke him. We're just going to spray him with some chemicals and napalm.
Yeah. Nukes are a bit much.
He said the president's fear was a wider war in which the Chinese would enter the fray. Oh, so he was just scared of that. Johnson never fully trusted his generals, said Mr. Johnson, who is no relation to the president. He had great admiration for the General Westmoreland, but he didn't want his generals to run the war. He had the weapons. Had the weapons been used, it would have added to the horrors of one of the most tumultuous and violent years in modern American history. Johnson announced weeks later that he would not rerun for election. The Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and R.F. Kennedy were assassinated shortly thereafter. The story of how close the United States came to reaching for nuclear weapons in Vietnam, 23 years after the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki forced Japan to surrender, is contained in The Presidents of War, a coming book by Michael Beschloss, the presidential historian. Johnson certainly made serious mistakes in waging the Vietnam War, like doing it to begin with. I want that ship in the goddamn bottom of the ocean. Who found the documents during his research for the book? But we have to thank him for making sure that there was no chance in early 1968 of the tragic conflict going nuclear. So, in this case, I guess we were lucky that LBJ was like, whoa, maybe we shouldn't carry it that far since we made this whole bullshit up to begin with. And not someone like with Trump. I mean, look, here it is. My God is a chaotic God. My God is Keck. And I gotta feel like Trump is Keck's will, man. Because you never know what the fuck is gonna happen from moment to moment with that guy.
Yeah,
right. So
definitely a chaotic individual.
What if he decided that let's start a war over nothing, and then nuke the fuck out of him? Like, if anybody was gonna just do that shit, I think it would probably be him. You know what I mean? Because he's just like, whatever, fucking whatever.
Yeah, I even saw an article that said that the leadership of China is currently very confused by Mr. Trump's actions.
Keep them on the toes, man.
Yeah,
it's in the book. You didn't read the book? The Rules of Acquisition?
Oh, yeah, I read that.
What do we got here? We got some user-submitted stories. Let's check it out.
This is coming from Storymancer.
Oh,
thank you, Storymancer.
57 alien races confirmed.
See?
Oh, Clifford Stone, of course. Yeah, that guy's great. Clifford Stone.
57.
All right, we're not going to go over this. It looks interesting.
57 reptiles.
But it looks like... That's a little inside joke for you guys. If you've been with us for a long time, you'll get that. But you haven't.
There's one time I almost fell asleep on air, and I was like...
You woke up, like, I think we were interviewing the guy who said he was a Draco walking.
Yeah.
And we were talking about different reptilians or something. Dan's over there, like, half asleep. And then he wakes up and he's like, well, I heard there was, like, 57 reptile species. Just, like, out of nowhere, like, no context in what we were talking about or anything. It was fucking the best. So there you go. Clifford Stone, been around for a while. You know what I mean? A lot of fucked up shit's happened to him. I think there's something behind what he says. You know what I mean? I don't know how much of it could be cover memories. Because there was one thing about Clifford Stone's testimony that kind of left me scratching my head a little bit. Like, okay, so the part where you may or may not have heard this, but okay, so they took him into some base. I think it was in Virginia. But anyway, it's inconsequential where it was. And I guess this was in the 60s, right? So they take him into this base to talk to this alien, right? Because he was an empath guy or whatever that was able to communicate with him. So that's why they would bring him to crash sites and shit like that.
Yeah.
So they bring him in there. And he's talking to the alien, and the alien's like, look, man, I gotta get out of here, man. This shit sucks, dude. Right? So he's like, look, I want to help you. He somehow manages to have the whole base evacuated, right? But not only does he do that, he, like, somehow contacts a friend of his to come and, like, clip the fence open for him or something. Oh, it's just this big, elaborate story about how he rescued this alien. But, like, it doesn't add up. Like, there's no way that... I mean, it's like 1968. What do you do? Call the fucking guy on a cell phone or something? You know what I mean? Like... it didn't add up, man. And the whole... With the guy coming in and opening the fence up for him and all that shit. I don't know. You guys think what you want about it. The stories are out there. But, it just didn't, that part didn't sit me well, but the rest of it, man, it's pretty solid. So there's no telling, man. That might have been something that was implanted in his memory. You know what I mean? That's kind of like because you know, you gotta believe they do that kind of shit.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
They put some kind of whack ass bullshit that don't make no sense in your head, so you run around saying that, and people are like, "Yeah, okay."
Well, let's say that you get like, you know, a bargain basement version of a Mind Wipe Prime, then it just kind of scrambles everything. Like it's not so much a mind wipe as it is a mind scramble.
I mean, you're talking about Mind Wipe Prime back in the '60s,
yeah,
which I'm sure is nothing like Mind Wipe Prime today.
Oh yeah, today if they Mind Wipe Prime you today, you're just like, ah.
And so you guys know, Mind Wipe Prime is a trademark owned by Reality.
Yes, we own Mind. So
if you've had a Mind Wipe Prime, you owe me money.
Yeah, and if you hear Corey Good talking about Mind Wipe Prime,
you let us know, because you're gonna have to talk to our lawyer.
Yeah, well, litigation.
Our lawyer is Lola Hammer Stanley, dude. You do not want to fuck around with him, man.
Well, I'm calling Saul Goodman.
459 cash. 459 cash. Yeah, if you're local to the area, you'll get that. So, tribunal. Yeah, right. Anything that's on the tribunals. Yeah. Or the sealed indictments. Oh shit, man.
So, yeah.
Alright, I'm sorry. I got myself sidetracked there. Okay, so speaking of China, what was the one? Didn't you say somebody sent us, or Storymancer sent us an article about China? Yeah.
Yeah, just a second ago.
What is this? Oh, view source, fake news. Facebook said this is fake news.
Well, Facebook is fake news.
We're getting hacked! We're getting hacked! Oh my god! Stupid website.
Well, you clicked on view source. U.S. Defense Intelligence warns of AI human hybrid soldiers from China. Which, I mean, that would be some shit, but China is moving towards merging AI with humans, and the United States Defense Intelligence Agency sees this as a major concern for the future of warfare. Namely because, you know, the Borg have those shifty energy shield things that keep modulating, so, you know, your phasers don't work after the first couple of times you shoot at them.
It shouldn't come as a surprise, this at all, because DARPA's been doing this for a while now.
Right.
So it shouldn't be a surprise to anyone that China would do this.
So, yeah, speaking at the Association of the U.S. Army annual meeting on October 8th, DIA director, that's a Defense Intelligence Agency, which is the shadowiest of some of the shadowy intelligence organizations. You remember that was that guy that kept stealing stuff from SG-1?
Yeah.
And, like, yeah.
Yeah, that was the Trust, wasn't it?
No, well, the DIA was controlled by the Trust, who was controlled by, of course, the Goa'uld.
The alien lizard people.
Yeah, the Goa'uld.
See, man, Stargate is like right on, guys.
Yeah, they nailed this stuff.
Look, man. If you ask me, Stargate should be suing Corey Good.
Yeah, they should. So, or at least sending in an SG-1 team to give them the business.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, Lieutenant General Robert P. Ashley said that one of the biggest decisions in the United States military is to make sure how to deal with the integration of humans and machines that China is pursuing. China is progressively pursuing a 2025 strategy where they want to be the main driver of AI, not only for their economic but for their industrial transformation.
We were talking about that last week or the week before.
And even Putin says whoever leads AI will rule the world. Vladimir Putin. The character of war is constantly changing, and as we see AI, we see some of the most disruptive technologies that continue to change the character of war, the complexity and the speed of human interaction. Our task is to understand how they operate, said the DIA director. The Lieutenant General remarked that it was necessary to find out how disruptive technologies like AI operate in order to learn how to counteract with them. So, another key area, he continues, human performance enhancement. So for China, 3 phases. It started with the digital age. It's moving into AI with neural networks, and then the next step, the integration of humans and machines. Cognitive advances, not just in how we think, but about stamina in the individual soldier, the ability to think through problems, think about the ethical impact of those kind of technologies and how they would be applied. And how to, because we all know technocratic, totalitarian, communist dictatorships are, concerned about, ethics. And how does a democracy view those kind of technologies? How will Russia and China leverage those? And the hard decisions that we'll have to make to keep peace. AI is progressing so rapidly that humans will have to merge with digital intelligence to become a sort of AI-human hybrid, according to Elon Musk. You know, even Hawking kind of said the same thing. So,
yeah, well, that guy said a lot of things.
Over time, we'll probably see a closer merger of biological intelligence and digital intelligence, Musk explained at the 2017 World Government Summit in Dubai. What Musk was referring to was the survival of humanity in the age of AI requires humans to physically connect their brains with digital technologies such as nanobots that can mimic and enhance biological functions and capabilities. In fact, Musk even launched his own startup in 2016 called Neuralink that is working towards integrating the human brain with AI that would circulate through the veins and arteries using a neural lace interface. So, while Neuralink does not state that its mission is to have its technology used for military purposes, Lieutenant General Ashley says that the merging of humans with machines can be used for both good and nefarious purposes.
How much? How much of their?
Because governments always have good purposes.
How much of their
right?
operating budget do you think is paid for by DARPA or something?
Oh Jesus! Like all of it.
That's why Elon Musk is so rich, because he don't have to use any of his money for his demented fucking projects.
Yeah. So what is it about technology that you see emerging that will be a game changer that a nation will have, that will give them a marked advantage? The answer? It's how you operationalize it. That's where you get the advantage. And for nations like the United States, it will make us better at something we already do very, very well. As for China, it will mean that...
You know, I would agree. We're pretty fucking good at kicking out robots. Like...
Oh yeah, our public schools have been doing it for a long time.
Take a look around, man. Fucking robots everywhere.
Yeah. So as we think about this disruptive technology, whether it's dual use for everything that has a positive use for mankind, someone is going to look for a nefarious way to put that into operation.
Sorry.
The risk, according to Ashley, is a lack of imagination. AI-human integration is either medicine or poison. The DIA director's words echo those of Lou Marinoff, a professor and philosopher at the City College of New York, who I met in Malaga, Spain, at the Horaces, India. I don't know where that is, but on the subject of AI-human implants, Dr. Marinoff told me, like with anything else now, this goes back to in ancient Buddhist teaching and other Western teachings. It's either medicine or poison. It can be used either way. So if you want to learn a language, it would be a lot easier to plug in the chip and get those neurons firing, absorb the vocabulary, and in a relatively short time you could be fluent in Mandarin without having to take all the pain and practice. While the U.S. military is concerned about China merging AI with humans, the defense DARPA has already developed a brain-computer interface that can communicate with drone swarms and fighter jets telepathically for the U.S. national defense. Haven't we been talking about,
you know what?
Synthetic telepathy?
Crazy shit aside, how dope would it be to be like just control a fucking fleet of 100, like, you know, just the drones,
mini drones,
just the little drones, like yeah, that'd be fun, but only for me. Like,
it wouldn't be fun for anybody else.
Like, nah.
As of today, signals from the brain can be used to command and control not just one aircraft, but 3 simultaneous types of aircraft, said Justin Sanchez, director of the Biological Technologies Office at DARPA, at the agent's 60th anniversary event in Maryland on September 6th. The signals from those aircraft can be delivered directly back to the brains, so that the brain of that user or pilot can also perceive the environment. It's taken a number of years to try and figure this out. The weaponization of AI will represent a paradigm shift in the way wars are fought. Since the end of the Second World War, defense systems have been prioritized to deter attacks rather than actually responding to them after the fact. This has been the model for stability for the past 72 years, but that paradigm is now shifting with the rise of AI and machine learning. So, if we ever do get into a war with China, that's how it's going to go down. They're all just going to be like, we are the Boer. Lower your shields and surrender your ships. We will add your biological and technological distinctiveness to our own. Your culture will adapt to service ours.
Okay. So
from this point forward, your lives as they have been are over.
Enough of that depressing AI shit. Let's talk about some conspiracies. Check this shit out. Second NASA space telescope shuts down after unexplained problem. Right, look, this has been building for a while, like all this shit.
First all the sunspot observatories, now this.
I feel like all this shit is linked. Because, like, look, first we had the sunspot shit, and then we had the Soyuz holes where it was depressurizing, and then
well, that was the
we've got another one where the Soyuz was going up Well, I guess we'll cover that right after this.
It almost crashed, yeah.
And it almost crashed. So, second NASA Space Telescope shuts down after unexplained problem. NASA's Chandra Space Telescope has shut itself down, just days after a similar problem hit the Hubble. The cause of the latest problem is unclear, and investigations are continuing, the space agency said. It has now entered safe mode that aims to ensure it's kept protected and powered up until the mysterious problem is solved. Chandra is an X-ray observatory, which collects emissions from very hot parts of the universe. In the time it's been scanning the sky from orbit, the sophisticated telescope has helped spot the beginnings and ends of black holes, galaxies, helping us understand the central process of the universe. The issues came just days after the Hubble Space Telescope, responsible for some of the most iconic space images ever taken, also put itself into safe mode. That happened because of problems with the onboard gyroscopes, which are used to ensure that it's pointing in the correct direction.
It had absolutely nothing to do with the massive movement of Nachtwaffen vessels from the moon to Mars.
Look, something like gyroscopes, like what would throw a gyro off?
Electromagnetic flux, mechanical failure.
Mechanical failure. EM flux going to throw a gyro off there? Like a mechanical gyro?
Maybe the system's attached to it. I mean, I'm just spitballing here.
I know, I hear you, man. I'm not shitting on you, man.
Micrometeoroids, sabotage.
It'd be pretty hard to sabotage the Hubble at this point unless you're out in space.
Or unless you had somebody who was capable of, psychic weaponry, just,
Yeah.
willing it to malfunction, and it
Well,
does.
we'll say, what if there's some kind of drive out there that's like the singularity drive from Star Trek? Maybe a gravitational disturbance or something.
I could see that.
Slow it down or fucking turn it, or
a directed energy weapon.
Like its fellow space telescope, Chandra has managed to survive much longer than engineers had promised when it first launched. It has now been around 19 years, despite being originally designed for just fever. And NASA said that it expects to continue its work in the years to come. We were still getting shit back. Remember, was it Voyager woke up all of a sudden?
Yeah, Voyager 2.
At approximately
1 and 2, they're both out there, and now Voyager 2 is coming up on the heliopause too. So,
at approximately 9:55 a.m. on October 10th, NASA's Chandra X-ray Observatory entered safe mode, in which the observatory is put into a safe configuration. Critical hardware is swapped to backup units. The spacecraft points so that the solar panels get maximum sunlight, and the mirrors point away from the sun. Analysis of available data indicates the transition to safe mode was normal. Behavior for such an event. Alright, but what is the event? Because they just said they didn't know why. Now they're saying it's normal. No, it's normal. Look, anytime you got a fleet, dark fleet ships, Nachtwaffen big old ones, subships, whatever, fly by, you're going to get the gyro going on, jiggity. Analysis of available data. Analysis of available data indicates the transition to safe mode was normal behavior for such an event, the Nachtwaffen ships. All systems function as expected, and the scientific instruments are safe. The cause of the safe mode transition is under investigation. Look, and then they just say it again. We don't know what it was, but it was normal. I must be reading this wrong or something, man. As well as Hubble and Chandra, the Kepler Space Telescope, which looks for distant planets by watching them pass in front of other stars. That's what found that moon, right?
Yep.
Has also run into issues because of lack of fuel. The various issues with NASA's hardware are not thought to be related.
It wants to be normal.
Yeah, it's not related.
Get
this, though, and they had to just add this shit at the end. Astronomers joke that now would be the perfect time for strange events to happen in space. Both Hubble and Chandra in extended safe modes, wrote the University of Alabama William Keel on Twitter, saying that we should now anticipate galactic supernova, an alien fleet, comet disruption impact with one of the giant planets, or a range of other phenomena.
Like massive troop movement from the U.S. Space Force.
That's fucking crazy, man.
Solar Warden training exercises.
Alright, so...
all kinds of fun stuff. So, speaking of other strange things happening in space, how about that Soyuz capsule?
Shit,
yeah. Soyuz space crew makes emergency landing after a terrifying booster failure. This is what you get for relying on piece of shit Russian rockets.
Dude, there's something going on, bro. Because look, the holes were drilled in that compartment, right? So, like...
okay, you guys get in the part with the holes in it.
I mean, they would have had to have fixed it, right, before they set it back up. So, I mean, look, you want to talk all that shit about the fucking Russians and shit, but, you know, they ain't that shitty.
You know what, though? I noticed that a lot of Russian stuff in space, like, typically the way they fix stuff is just bang on it until it works.
You saw that in the movie. That's not real.
Yeah, it is. So, the two-person crew aboard a Russian-made Soyuz rocket made an emergency landing in Kazakhstan, greatest country in the world, today, shortly after the launch. The crew, which was traveling to the ISS, is reportedly safe and in good condition after the scary failure was broadcast on the web. NASA astronaut Nick Hague and Russian cosmonaut Alexei Jones.
Where'd it go?
No, Ovchinin. Yeah, Alexei Ovchinin. Launched from the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan at 4:40 a.m.
Balchinian.
This morning, yeah. There you can see video from the NASA live stream. Early reports that a booster had failed minutes after liftoff.
There it is. Damn it, man.
The Soyuz capsule is returning to Earth via ballistic descent, which is a sharper angle of landing compared to normal, NASA tweeted. Search and rescue teams are headed towards the expected touchdown location of the spacecraft and crew. The crew of the MS-10 landed roughly 12 miles east of Jezkazgan.
Dude, I love this gif. Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit.
Suka blят.
I mean, I'm glad they're all right and shit. Don't get me wrong, man.
So the crew, the crew landed roughly 12 miles east of Wilmington, Kazakhstan, and it was met by search and met by a certain Jizkagan.
Gizmodo.
Yeah, Jizkagan.
Gizmoglobin.
Yeah, there you go. They met by a search and rescue team and Project Bluebeam. That's always prepared.
Moondust.
Yeah, Moondust. That's always prepared on the ground for a situation just like this. This crew is currently being brought to Moscow. Been a few rough months for space travel as today's failure follows another recent incident aboard the ISS. Horrifyingly, a hole was recently discovered in a different Soyuz capsule, the MS-09. That was attached to the ISS in late August. Hole caused a small oxygen leak while hooked up to the ISS.
Don't die.
The Russian space agency Roscosmos tweeted that it's creating a formal commission to investigate the rocket failure. So, note to self: don't get on a Soyuz anytime soon.
Nah. I want to see what's gonna happen. I guess is how long it's taking. How long is this video?
This is a cool looking rocket.
Oh,
I like the four four engines together. Like, I think that's cool looking.
Yeah, man. I it's my gut is telling me that all, most if not all of these events that have been happening recently are connected, man. I don't know about the solar observatory thing, because that could have been some kind of crazy communications theft or something, or I don't buy the porn thing. The child porn thing. I don't buy that for a fucking minute. I don't think it was a fleet.
Yeah, they call it the Pentagon for a reason, right?
So, yeah, man, I don't know. It still could be space carpenter bees. I mean,
I hadn't thought of that.
What do you mean you hadn't thought of that, man?
I always forget about the space bees, man.
So, they're being pretty calm about it, I guess. Like right here, man. This is what did it.
Lovely.
Yeah, space bees.
Fucking space bees.
What we got up next, man? You got something particular?
So, you remember Star Wars? Remember the whole Bespin Cloud City thing?
I don't remember Star Wars at all.
All right, well,
what is that?
They're thinking about building an actual Bespin
now,
Cloud City type thing on Venus.
Are you talking about Reagan Star Wars, or are you talking about Lucas Star Wars?
The Star Wars that was out when we were kids.
Okay, so Reagan Star Wars.
Yeah. So, NASA wants to send humans to Venus to live in airships and floating on clouds. Which, it sounds weird, but there actually is a sweet spot in Venus's atmosphere where it's not too shitty.
Where it's dope. It's like, ooh, I love it here. I want to build a fucking casino.
Yeah. A floating casino. Popular sci-fi of the early 20th century depicted Venus as some kind of wonderland of pleasantly warm temperatures, forests, swamps, and even maybe dinosaurs. In 1950, the Hayden Planetarium at the American Natural History Museum was soliciting reservations for the first space tourism mission, well before the modern era of Blue Origin, SpaceX, and Virgin Galactic. All you had to do is supply your address and tick the box for your preferred destination, which included Venus. Today, we know Venus is basically hell. Or as close as you're going to get to hell. As revealed by numerous missions in the last few decades, rather than being a paradise, the planet is a hellish world of infernal temperatures, corrosive toxic atmosphere, and crushing pressures at the surface. Despite this, the government still wants to go there.
Hey, and just so you know, the hole was in the Soyuz module that was docked with the ISS.
Yeah,
so, just so you know.
MS-09. Despite this, NASA is currently working on a conceptual manned mission to Venus, codenamed Havoc, which sounds badass. You know, at least sometimes the government does pick out cool names for stuff. That's if I had to say anything nice about them, which is a bit of a stretch, but yeah. High altitude Venus operational concept.
Damn.
So, how is this mission even possible? Temperatures on the planet's surface, about 460 degrees Celsius, are in fact hotter than Mercury, even though Venus is roughly double the distance from the Sun.
Double?
Yep.
Dubs?
Dubs.
That's kick.
Yep. This is higher than the melting point of many metals, including bismuth and lead, which may even fall as snow onto mountain peaks. So can you imagine snow made of, like, lead and magnesium? Like, just molten flakes of metal floating down from the air? The surface is a barren, rocky landscape consisting of vast plains of basaltic rock dotted with volcanic features and several continent-scale mountainous regions.
Yeah, I was just informed that we may possibly have ET viewers.
Nice. I hope so.
Fuck yeah.
If you're an ET, if you're an off-worlder,
give us a call!
Because, you know, hey, all I'm saying is, I heard on, you know, that other show that's kind of like us from Australia.
Oh yeah, what about that one?
Well, apparently they interpret other star nations is what they prefer to be called, and they which hopefully that's not copyrighted.
But leave it up to the Aussies to come up with some PC shit like that, crazy ass musk eaters.
Well, no, the person who said that was an American.
Oh, Jesus, that makes it even worse.
But apparently they interpret the phrase "alien" as a slur.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard the same thing,
aliens.
and I've seen people get upset online when you use that alien instead of saying ET.
I always like the term off-worlder, but other star nations, you know, that seems rather nice. And you know, apparently they are people, in fact. So you know,
gyros only work because of inertia.
Right on.
So I mean, I guess with a massive gravity spike,
a tractor beam could fuck it up.
Space bees.
Yep.
Carpenter bees.
So
with
Venus's surface is geologically young, so something is resurfacing Venus the same way Earth's surface is constantly being resurfaced.
Like, you know, you get your hardwood floor resurfaced.
Yeah. Well, like, you know, we don't have a lot of big craters on Earth like you
maybe
see
it's
on the
those
moon.
copyrighted aliens that live on Venus, the big tall ones that control all that knowledge. Maybe they're out there with big floor sanders sanding the surface of fucking Venus. But don't. Never mind. I didn't say that. Okay, Corey. Good. I don't have any money to give you.
So, the idea behind this NASA mission isn't to land people on the surface, which would be really stupid, but to use the dense atmosphere as a base for exploration.
Yeah,
so
man,
basically they're going to build big floating platforms. So, the upper atmosphere of Venus is...
How much you want to bet there's something like that there already?
Oh, no doubt. I'm sure Solar Warden...
Even if it wasn't us, I bet you there's E.T. Did I do that right? I don't want to offend any of our viewers.
Undocumented interplanetary visitor. There you go.
That's or interdimensional / or so would it be like ETIDLBQ?
Yeah, something like that.
All right, so
QGBMEs. As surprising as it may seem, the upper atmosphere of Venus is the most Earth-like location in the solar system. Between altitudes of 50 and 60 kilometers, the pressure and temperature can be compared to regions of Earth's lower atmosphere. The atmospheric pressure is at around 55 kilometers up, is about half of the pressure of sea level on Earth. In fact, you'd be fine without a pressure suit. as this is roughly equivalent to the air pressure you would find at the summit of Mount Kilimanjaro. Nor would you need to insulate yourself, as the temperature here ranges between 20 and 30 degrees Celsius. So there's a part of Venus where it's still a nice day. Unfortunately, it's 55 kilometers up. So
Yeah, but I mean, that's cool though, right?
yeah,
Well, there's actually a planet in the solar system that has a habitable atmosphere that they emit to.
yeah. Well, I'm not. They didn't say that you wouldn't need a rebreather, because I'm pretty sure that
It's too much methane. Or what is it? What
mostly
is it?
CO2.
CO2.
Yeah, most. But then there's
Global warming.
Well, yeah. I mean, really, that's for real. Like, I mean, the Venus got greenhouse affected, so now it's just a smoldering hellhole. The atmosphere above this altitude is dense enough to protect astronauts from cosmic rays and radiation from the sun. And there's an even greater abundance of solar radiation because it's closer to the sun. So
It's pretty close,
the conceptual airship would float around the planet, being blown around by the wind. It could usefully be filled with a breathable gas mixture such as oxygen or nitrogen, providing buoyancy and letting astronauts breathe, which is pretty nice. This is possible because breathable air is less dense than the Venusian atmosphere, and as a result would be a lifting gas. 97% CO2, 3% nitrogen, trace amounts of other gases. It famously contains a sprinkling of sulfuric acid, which forms dense clouds and is a major contributor to its visible brightness when viewed from Earth. So, Venus is one of the brightest things in the sky. And 75% of the light that falls onto it from the sun gets reflected back out into space. And yes, there is a layer down about 30 kilometers where it's constantly raining sulfuric acid. But it's so hot that it never makes it to the ground.
Really?
Uh-huh.
All right, well, there's a lot more of that. So if you want to read the rest of that, go to space.com. We got about 12 minutes left, and we've got about 42 articles. So, guys, expect a massive shit dump of articles in the group after the show, because there's going to be a lot of stuff that we weren't able to get to.
Which, we could maybe if we made it a 3-hour show, but
Nah.
I've been awake for a very long time, so that's not happening tonight.
Sorry, not tonight, guys.
But in the time that we have left remaining, if you happen to be one of our cousins from off-world, give us a call, 757-528-8130.
Very, very nice, very nice way to say that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, apparently there's, a very good chance that anybody from not too far from Earth, anything in the, like the 1,000 light years or less, probably has some sort of genetic ancestry crossover with us somewhere.
All right, so what are we gonna... We got a lot of stuff here, man. I was thinking about... We got this company figuring out how to build things out of natural resources on Mars. Sounds kind of interesting. But then we've also got... The universe's continued existence implies extra dimensions are tiny.
Itsy bitsy teensy
like
weeny, itsy bitsy dimensions.
This could be the way the world ends. Oh, God, what a great way to start an article. First, a pair of cosmic protons smash together at unimaginable speeds. The tremendous energy of their crash would create a tiny... What's that word?
Ephemeral.
Ephemeral black hole. What does that even mean?
Fleeting. It only lasts for a very tiny span of time.
English so good. So small that it would last just a fraction of a second before evaporating. Where the black hole just was, a bubble of space with entirely different laws of physics than the universe we inhabit would begin to grow, expanding ever outward at the speed of light. In its wake, atoms would disintegrate, and the universe as we know it would fizzle out of existence.
They don't know that.
They don't know nothing. If you're standing nearby when the bubble starts to expand, you don't see it coming, says Katie Mack, physicist at North Carolina State University in Raleigh. Holla, North Carolina, what up? You right there. If it's coming at you from below, your feet stop existing before your mind realizes that.
Well, at least it's over quick.
That horror movie can only happen if the universe has at least one extra dimension on top of 3 of space and 1 of time.
What about probability?
Maybe that's what they're talking about? The fifth guy? But this isn't the way the world ends. At least, it hasn't yet. You don't know that either. And so the fact that the universe hasn't been destroyed by evaporating black holes puts strict limits on the size of extra dimensions, if any actually exist. Mac and Robert McNeese of somewhere in Chicago claim that a paper posted online September 13th. Scientists have yet to find evidence of extra dimensions, a lack that suggests that any real ones must be minuscule. But their existence could help explain mysteries like dark energy and dark matter, and point the way into new physics beyond the standard model particle physics. So physicists are eager to probe their properties any way they can.
See, my concern is that if they do discover tiny extra dimensions, that Corey Good's going to copyright them.
Even tiny extra dimensions could have an influence on the way trademark law is carried out. For instance, gravity could leak into these extra dimensions, perhaps explaining why that force appears so much weaker than other fundamental forces. That leakage could also lower the bar for creating miniature black holes. At the tiny distances that extra dimensions affect, gravity would appear much stronger. If you have these extra dimensions, you don't need to get as much matter in as small as a place, to make that black hole as you would without the extra dimensions.
Yeah, and if you can fit that much matter into that small of a space, you can expect to hear from Corey Good's legal team.
That's why some people thought that the Large Hadron Collider at CERN near Geneva might make tiny black holes when it turned on in 2008. But so far, none have appeared that you know about. Nature can collide particles with even higher energies, though. The highest are found in the ultra-high energy cosmic rays, protons that zip between galaxies with their energies higher than 8 billion billion electron volts. What the hell is 8 billion billion? Is that real?
Yeah, that's a real number.
Man, I'm fucking stupid. That's 100 million times as high as the energies produced by the LHC. If collisions between those particles have made any black holes, then physicists could work out the gravitational reach of any extra dimensions, or how close you have to get to an object before gravity starts acting weird. I mean, you know, it could just be a case of we don't understand what gravity actually is. Like, we got it all fucking whacked out. Like,
is it a particle? Is it depression caused in space-time?
Like, I'm not a scientist or whatever, but I feel like it's some type of electromagnetic force. Something similar to that. You know, not in the traditional sense of that you would think of it yet, but it's something similar to that.
Yeah.
Okay, so if collisions between those particles have made any black holes, the physicists could work. All right, we got that. Scenario has a dark side. According to a theory first put forward by Stephen Hawking in the 1970s, energy radiates away from black hole until the black hole eventually disappears. The smaller the black hole, the faster it evaporates. So any black holes made by colliding cosmic rays would fizzle almost instantaneously, or so the theory goes.
Well, you know, a cosmic ray is pretty much just a really high energy proton being accelerated through space, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, think about this. A proton that's, you know, being zinged out of a galaxy 10 squillion light years from here, there's no such thing as empty space. So the entire time that proton is moving through space, it's bumping into photons from the cosmic microwave background radiation. It's bumping into neutrinos from the cosmic neutrino background radiation. It's bumping into all sorts of electromagnetic interference, other photons. So, you know, like, you could have tiny black holes that form and fizzle out all the time.
Yeah, in CERN. I thought I read something about CERN actually teleporting a black hole on accident or some shit. Or maybe it was just teleporting an object, or like an atom or something.
Well, we got an article that we're probably not going to get to, but you know what? I think we should try and squeeze this in.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a TLDR type thing. So if you guys want to read the rest of that, go to sciencenews.org and check it out.
This is a sexy one that we can boil down real quick.
Ooh, yeah.
It's about that. Speaking of accelerating particles, and China. Their massive particle accelerator could create a phase transition that rips apart the very fabric of space-time.
Well, that wouldn't be very good, would it?
Now witness the ultimate power of this fully armed and operational particle accelerator.
Completely manned by AI hybrid humanoids.
Be like, what would happen if the Death Star got taken over by the Borg? That would be shitty.
Oh, fuck. That would be bad news for everybody, dude.
Yeah, right?
Oh,
so
man.
What could happen right here. China is building a particle accelerator that will be twice as large and 7 times as powerful as CERN's LHC.
Look.
Said astrophysicist Martin Rees.
And he added that, we're sick of only opening up small portals to let little demons in at CERN, so we gotta get the whole army at once. Right?
Yeah, pretty much. So Martin Rees, famous for his contribution to black hole formation, to extragalactic radio sources, and the evolution of the universe, thinks there's a chance that the collider could cause a catastrophe that engulfs space itself, and in fact creates an entirely new universe that will destroy the rest of this one.
But will it be a tiny pocket universe?
What do we know? Because technically, a black hole is something that light can't escape from, right? So our whole universe could functionally just be
in a black hole somewhere.
Yeah, a tiny ephemeral particle caused by a proton bumping into a photon in a higher dimension.
And so, if a black hole fizzles out in deep space, do you hear it?
Good question. So, contrary to popular perception, the vacuum of space is not an empty void. The vacuum, Rees says, has all the forces and particles that govern the physical world, and it's possible that the vacuum we can observe is in reality fragile and unstable. So what this means is that when a collider, such as CERN's LHC, creates these unimaginably concentrated energy concentrations by smashing particles together, it can cause a phase transition which would tear us under the fabric of space, which we just got done reading about, and cause a cosmic calamity, not just a terrestrial one. So
we don't want that to happen.
At least it'll be over quick. And there won't be time for the Borg to assimilate us because we will cease to exist. But this Chinese super collider is 34 miles in circumference. It would be double the size of the Large Hadron Collider. And we are very short on time, so not that we have to get off the air right at 10, but this is another TLDR, so
check it out.
We're gonna go ahead and post it on
dailygalaxy.com.
Yeah, and we'll post it on the Facebooks.
I would like to leave you with this: a man's love of squirrel meat might have given him a horrifying fatal brain.
You should not eat squirrels; they're sentient.
Right. Look, so tonight's show, the moral of tonight's show. 1, don't get on the ships.
Don't get on the ships.
2, don't eat squirrel meat. 3,
or any sentient life form, honestly.
3, drink Brondo. Scott what plants crave.
Yep.
All right, guys. So we will see you again next week.
Oh, and also we have a couple of other articles that we're going to go ahead and post that we didn't have time to get to tonight. We might as well just tell you what they are real quick. That way we touch on them.
I don't want to hear you.
Yeah, you anymore. Do. So, scientists discover a weird noise coming from the Antarctic ice shelf. It sounds kind of like... And, let's see, also in Antarctica news, more spooky cosmic rays, but they're not coming down out of space. They're coming up out of the ice.
Sweet.
So, something down there. Maybe they just, they're testing new models of Honebu engines at the Nazi base under the ice. We're not sure.
So, look. Just look in the group. It'll be a ton of shit in there. See you guys next week.
frozen waves, the love.